going on with this YouTube thing. Seriously, you know. So we're gonna restart again. What's up? What's up, everybody? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Tony Harvin Network. I hope everybody's doing well. Y'all know my disclaimer: I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please, please do not lay claim of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now, in the middle, and those who want to join this and watch it when it uploads to YouTube. For the most part, you know what I mean. Shout out to everybody out there. You know what I mean. This is questions and answers. Questions and answers. You got anything you want to ask? What you want to talk about? You know what I mean? All the low riders, all the haters. Ask your questions. What you want to talk about? You know what I mean? Whatever you got to say it. You know what I mean? Say what you got to say. Ask anything. Whatever you want to talk about. Feel free to talk about it. You need to vent? Vent in the chat room. You don't like somebody in here? Let us know. If you don't like somebody in here that be in here every day, let us know. Let us rectify the situation. Fix it all up. You know what I mean? V. Coleman says, what did they talk about when somebody's in church whispering bad things in your ear? Don't like what the pastor say. Oh, man. Shout out to V. Coleman. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Georgina Fleming, Jonah? God owns the whole world. Khadijah Reeves, shout out to you. Appreciate the support to this YouTube channel. Bonnie, shout out to you. Appreciate that. At Khadijah Reeves, once again. Prodigal Son, shout out to you. Paulette Indoor, WT Media, Charlotte Ann, Linda, Roxanne, Indoor Hardness as a good soldier. Sister T, shout out to you. Thema, what's up to Gino P? V. Coleman says, what should you do? He says, what should you do? He says, I want to whisper. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know if it's a typo or what. He says, what should you do? I want somebody whisper something in your ear from the church about the pastor don't like what they preach. I don't get it. What's up to D. James? Shout out to you. What's up to MP? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Hester. Shout out to Hester for sure. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on in this world. You know what I mean? People talking about Trump pardoning people. You know what I mean? Pardoning individuals and whatnot in prison. You know what I mean? Who y'all think should be pardoned? You ask that question to the public. You know what I mean? You might have family members out there in prison somewhere. Innocent people in prison. You know what I mean? Jonah says, he says, Elder Dan is currently preaching at headquarters. Today is Thursday, right? I keep forgetting, man. You know what I mean? Is it back on Zoom yet? Let me know. Or they still got it on YouTube unlisted. You know what I mean? I really don't know. I really don't know what happened with the Zoom thing, for the most part. But as long as they're getting it out there, whether YouTube unlisted or wherever, you know, or it's still YouTube unlisted, you know what? The quality is better, I'd say. You know, the Zoom quality, I didn't like the Zoom quality as far as like if, you know, of course I'm a YouTuber, if I wanted to screen record, whatever. You say Zoom only allows so many people at a time, so I would think that's why. You know what? I didn't know that Zoom only allowed what's 1,000 people or something like that. I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? But that's good to know about Zoom. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me, was I going to stream on Zoom? I don't like Zoom. You know what I mean? But if I got to be on it, then hey, I'll be on it for the most part. What's up to Sandra Brown? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate you for coming on here. You know? Shalom, shalom. So, V. Coleman, I guess you meant if somebody's whispering bad things in your ear and they don't like what the pastor say, as far as like, you know, if they disagree with the pastor who's preaching and it's from the scriptures and they don't like it and they whisper in your ear, well, I've never experienced that before, and I don't know who else experienced that, as far as like, you know, people in the churches whispering in your ear about things that a pastor preaches, if it's right from the scriptures, right, and they whisper in your ear. You know what I mean? That's just a crazy situation right there. All right, what's up to Paris? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Not a problem at Sandra Brown. Definitely appreciate that. So V. Coleman, you know, there's a lot of things that goes on, you know, when we sit down and we're watching the messages. Right? Not only people whispering in your ear, but you may have some people trying to undress you. You know what I mean? Everybody who go to church ain't there for God. Some people go to church for the wrong reasons. They go to church to get out the house. They go to church to find a woman or man. They go to church for free food, help. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with help. But if you just run into churches for gimme reasons, you know what I mean? Everybody don't got the Lord on their mind when they come to the sanctuary. They don't. You know what I mean? To V. Coleman. All right, what's up to Mercy Carr? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Absolutely. At Sandra Brown, excuse me. You know, I mean, we've seen some things. I'm pretty sure some of us seen some things in the churches. You know what I mean? Some people go to church drunk, high. You know what I mean? It's truth. It's truth. You know what I mean? Listen, right before they go to church, they getting drunk. Right before they go to church, listen, they smoking weed. Puff, puff, pass. You know? Some so-called preachers getting high before they so-called preach. They got to get that puff. You know what I mean? What's up to G Swoles? Just have you ever thought about going to college or going back to college? Yes. That is correct. I got about 99 credits. You know, when you're young and dumb and, you know what I mean, you're not really thinking and you just chasing the girls and whatnot. You know? 99 credits, you're like, man, whatever, man. Now when you get older, like, man, I got 99 credits, man. I only had like 7 more classes, 6, 7 more classes to go. You know what I mean? But when you're young, you don't really think like that. So yes, but nowadays, like, you know what I mean, you can make more money without a college degree. I mean, it's good to have under your belt, but that has been a thought. You know? All right, First Church came out with something. Let me see what they came out with. Let's go check it out. Let me see what they came out with. Unless that was an old notification. Okay, that's from Minnesota Sunday. All right. What's up, the Drago? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Bonnie says, I would like to know why are there so many men saying that they, marriage talk, Y'all know how I get when marriage talk come up. Marriage talk. They know how I get. You says, I would like to know why are there so many men saying that they don't want to get married through the government. I thought people get married for love and to become one flesh. Well, that sounds like Hebrew Israelite talk or Muslim talk or whatever the case may be. As Gina would preach, obey the laws of the land, right? If that law contradicts the word of God, then we're not supposed to follow it. You know? So what he preaches is, listen, there's nothing wrong with getting married, right? Whether you're doing it by the courts, whether you're having a special event, you're spending thousands of dollars on it, whatever, hey, I mean, it's all the same. You go to the courthouse and spend $100 to get married, or go to Vegas, get married. It is what it is. But that's just a stupid, concept of those type of people who think that way. All right, what's up to Capricorn? Do anyone watch It's Church Life? I never heard of that. What's up to Christopher Span? Shout out to you. Bless. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. David B. Shout out to you. All right. You say, is it possible to attend college and still working as a truck driver? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they got online schooling. They got another format of online college. What is that, like competency-based learning or something like that? If that's how you pronounce the word, at your own pace. Some people go to study.com and get some college credits. There's various ways how to obtain your college degree. You don't have to go to school for 4 years. Some people get a college degree in 5 months. You say, how do you get a college degree in 5 months? It's not that hard to do. When you look at the tutorials, you're like, is this school accredited? In fact, they are. When you look at, education.gov and stuff like that, research the schools out. You got people putting 8 hours a day. Those who got time on their hand to complete a college degree in 5 months. So it all depends on the person. Different colleges got different, ways how they do things. Some stretch it out to 4 years. Because a lot of that online stuff, they knock out all that extra stuff that normal colleges go through. Look at the University of Phoenix. Or all those other online schooling and whatnot. You can move at your own pace with some of them. And some people could finish a class within a week. Is it equivalent to going to a 4-year college? Hey, you understand that? Hey, if this person could pass a class in a week, what would be the difference between it may be a off-track analogy, but you got 14-year-olds that complete college. Some people are very smart. Which though they could breeze through a class just like that because they're very smart. You know what I mean? So now, hey, why not? It's online schooling now. But a lot of us, if we got kids who's going off to college, we would prefer them to go to, well, I would prefer mine to go to a 4-year college, to learn the responsibilities in life. I think online schooling is for like people like me who got jobs and stuff like that, responsibilities, whereas though we cannot go, it'd be hard to go to college on campus. You know what I mean? We could go to college right from our computers right here, or when we at work. Taking a break, study, do a quiz, whatever. You're a truck driver, we got a lot of time on our hand. You know what I mean? So it all depends on the person. I'm pretty sure some people did online schooling in here, and whatnot. I did online schooling and whatnot when I was working. I was able to obtain 99 college credits while working. You know what I mean? So yes, it's possible, man. All right. Let's see. D. Coleman says, I'm so glad I get to get my divorce papers in the mail because he was never my husband. Because oh, man. Y'all love this marriage talk. Y'all love this marriage talk. I tell you. They love it. Woo, they love that marriage talk. Wow. You said because his first wife is still living, I'm happy to go back to my maiden name. Get that name off of me. Capricorn says, somebody said, don't listen to what people say. What's up, the Herd Wire? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. DJ says, if you have children, going to college online is the way to go. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt to get some more education. It could help you in the long run. You know what I mean? If you're working as a truck driver, then later on, you might have an opportunity to work in the office. And that college degree may help you get a little extra coins on your check. I mean, you just never know. You know what I mean? All right. Capricorn says, who are you going to date after your divorce until Jesus comes back? You wrote. Wow. Prodigal Son says, marriage talk and you put 2 thumbs down. Yeah, some people love that marriage talk. They love it. G-Swole says, why they never had life lesson classes in school to know what we're going to be dealing with when we get grown, being on our own. I agree with that. You understand? And, that's why, I commend a lot of parents out here who really teach their kids and really let their kids know, you understand, about the responsibilities in life. You know what I mean? Like, my oldest son. He's off to college. You know what I mean? Could it be scary for parents? Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. But you got to learn how to let go. Got to learn how to let go. They're adults now, and you understand? They're not a kid no more. They're adults. You know what I mean? All right? Span says marriage isn't for the weak. Gino P says to G Swole, back in the day we had home economic class. I think I remember that. Kind of. Bonnie says, sorry, I opened up a can of worms. Well, it's all good when you talk about that marriage. People are going to go. Once you start talking about that divorce and remarriage, people gonna come out. You know what I mean? They're gonna come. Right? And then it's gonna start something. It's gonna start something. You know what I mean? It's gonna start a whole lot with people on here. All right. Capricorn says, I know what we can do. Work 24 hours a day for 5 days a week and sleep for 2 days. You crazy. You must be crazy. What I look like? You know what I mean? No way. 24 hours working for 5 days. I don't know where you get that from. You know? All right? What's up to G Money? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. To G Money. Appreciate you for coming on here. You know? Let me see where we at. I'm just scrolling through right quick. What's up, sister? Sister Monica, shout out to you. Hope all is well. Tony M, shout out to you. Hope all is well. Paris, shout out to you. Hope all is well. Got another deleted comment. You know, I like checking the deleted comments out. You know, majority of times I ain't gonna read them, but sometimes I do. All right, Jesus Forward says, are you going to be sad when you lose your fast hands due to your elderly age? Who said that? Who said that's going to happen? I don't think that way. You know? I don't think that way. You know what I mean? Some people, my coach, my first coach, you know, Jimmy the Cat Dupree, he was in his 70s. He still had his skills. You know what I mean? You don't lose your skills when you get older. I don't know where they get this whole concept from. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan is old, but yet he can still go to the courts and he don't lose that ability to know how to shoot that ball. You know what I mean? Tom Brady, he's not gonna use he ain't gonna lose that throwing a football. Brett Favre or John Elway, Tony Romo, Troy Aikman. You know what I mean? You don't lose the ability at all. You still got your skill. You still got your talent. You know what I mean? You just can't keep it up as far as like as a profession or whatever the case may be. You know, Sugar Ray Leonard, he's in his 60s, I believe, and he still got it. He still got it. You know, but as long as you're taking care of yourself, staying focused and whatnot, hey, I believe you still have your skill and whatnot, because as I'm getting older, I'm getting stronger and faster. I don't know where people get this whole concept that you slow down. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I haven't experienced that. You know, as I'm getting older, it's increasing. You know, I think that was the same thing with Tom Brady. You know what I mean? And other people. Bernard Hopkins, he won a championship at the age in his 50s. George Foreman won a championship in his 50s. You know what I mean? LeBron James, he's still balling. He's the best player in the world, right? In his 40s. You know what I mean? So I don't know where people get that thing from, that you slow down. Now, if it, of course, when you get 80, 90 years of age, Lord willing, in your hundreds, I won't be sad. You know, I'll be thankful that, you know, I live that long. You know what I mean? I'll be more thankful and blessed that I live, if it happens, to my 90s, my hundreds, or whatever the case may be. It'll be a blessing. You know, but if you go on YouTube and you see people in their 90s working out, you'll see it. You know what I mean? I think it was like last year or something like that. 95-year-old man. Walking normal, talking normal, in better shape than a lot of these people out here that I've seen. I mean, look at Elder King. You know what I mean? Walking normal, talking normal. Elder King is in better shape than a lot of people out here. He in his 90s. You know what I mean? Elder King is a great example. Great example. Man in his 90s. You got young people out here getting strokes from what? Not taking care of themselves. Young people catching heart attacks. Young people, high blood pressure, diabetes. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about being born with it. I'm talking about them causing it on themselves. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about hereditary or nothing like that, but causing unhealthiness upon yourself. All right, Capricorn says, wonder if the person don't want you no more anymore. What do you do, being all honesty? I think we talked about something like that the other day. Didn't we? I think. Not too sure. You know? More relationship talk. More relationship talk. Man, they love that relationships talk. They love it. They love that relationship talk. Listen, somebody don't want you, then hey, what you gonna do? Force them? Force them to take you back? You know? Hey, you just gonna have to take that L. Simple as that. At the end of the day. Because some people wake up and guess what? They don't want to be with you no more. What you gonna do? That's their decision. You'll be hurt. But hey, it happens. It's life, right? All right. What's up to number 33? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. SV, Mr. Hebrew. Shout out to you. Priscilla Wayne. Shout out to you. What's up to Cynthia Davenport? Shout out to you. Mr. Hebrew said, Dan Marino. Prodigal son said, age is just a number. It's your genes and lifestyle. You wrote that. Heard Wise says, practice makes perfect. Wonderful. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? For sure. Captain Khan says, well, I don't know about that one, Captain Khan. What? I don't get that one at Captain Khan. I'm lost with that one. You're losing me. You're losing me with that one. You know, he says, I know cold baths and long work hours will keep the flesh. What? I don't know about that. He says, until Jesus comes back, unless someone ticket been called. What? Cold baths. Are you cool? What's up, the D-Swole? He said, so is it possible to keep your strength in your elderly age? When I want to be able to play sports with my kids, if God ever blesses me to have them. Well, one thing is keep yourself in shape. You know what I mean? Keep yourself in shape. Visit the doctor. Course prayer to be in good health. You know what I mean? But most importantly, taking care of yourself. You know what I mean? You definitely got to do that. For the most part, you know? All right? Appreciate that. At G Swole. D James says, I feel pain all over my body. I'm not getting stronger or faster. I'm getting weaker and slower. Well, I mean, hey, you may have to switch your diet around and do some exercises or whatever. You know what I mean? But, you know, some people come from the backgrounds of, like, you know, football, basketball. They've been doing it all their life since they was kids or whatever. You know, but for those who are feeling weaker and slower, you know what I mean? I think you need to, you know, check with a doctor or a nutritionist or whatever the case may be. You know, or you're substituting that for being lazy. You know, that could be another thing. It just could be just laziness. You know? But it's cool though. It's cool. You know what I mean? All right. There's more static with the mic. They said it's static with the mic. Let me listen to myself. Let's just see. They said it's static with the mic. Let me listen to myself. Let's just see. I don't hear any. They said it's static with the mic. Let me listen to myself. Let's just see. I don't hear no static. I don't hear no static. What's going on? You know? He said Pastor Jennings still can stick and move. For sure. You know what I mean? All right. Mr. Huber says, I might be able to still dunk. It's possible. It's definitely possible. You know what I mean? What's up in Maxwell? G Money says, we said, let's talk about the young lady from the Carolinas who was deleted by 6 illegal immigrants driving down the highway. He says, Ben Crump, Jamal Bryant, or BLM is not talking about this case. Do you know about it? Well, I think I heard about it a little bit. Let me see. Let me look it up. All right. Let me see. In South Carolina, it says 6 illegal aliens charged for the brutal unaliving of South Carolina mother in a random attempted robbery. Wow. Lancaster. A mother of 2, Larisha Sherelle Thompson. Wow. They have also been charged with burglary and attempted armed robbery. It said fatally shot her and attempted to enter her vehicle. Not only did these individuals allegedly unalive this innocent mother, but they also are also accused of attempting to rob a convenience store. Wow. 6 illegals. And people wonder why Trump is so hard on them. People wonder why. You understand? And I was a little eased about these illegal immigrants. I was. But when you start to hear talks about what is that going on in Chicago? I forgot the group over there. Then you got this situation happening. You know what I mean? It just makes you think. Makes you think. Listen, is Trump right on this one? Is he? You know what I mean? Is he? Because there's been some stories about these illegals that's committing a lot of these crimes. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder. An innocent mother of 2. All right, what's up to Sion? Shout out to you. Time Renee, shout out to you. I wouldn't fight Mike Tyson at G Swole. All right. G Money, I don't watch much basketball. You know, I don't watch much basketball with Knicks and Pacers. I just watch highlights. You know, I don't watch a whole game or nothing like that. I haven't watched a whole basketball game in, I don't know, man. We talking about maybe 20 years probably. Talking about maybe 20 years, maybe. A whole basketball game. You know, but hey, if I'm gonna pick a team, I'd say I don't know, the Pacers. You know what I mean? Possibly the Pacers. What's up to Urban Mac? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate that at Shelly House. Shout out to you. Appreciate the support. G Money says, why is Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight touring at 81 years of age? Where is their real money and wealth at? It's a shame that the record companies took all these singers' money and they have to work. 81. You know, they still got Ron Isley out there. You know? Trying to tour and whatnot. What's up with WT Media? Shout out to you. He said, what's a good cologne you recommend? Soap. Soap. Soap and water. Clean clothes. You know what I mean? Laundromat. Smell like Downy. You know? I'd say Coach. Versace. You know what I mean? That's just the 2 main I know. You know what I mean? Coach and Versace. You understand? Eros Versace. Pretty expensive. You know what I mean? But hey, because I was never a person that wore cologne. It was always a fresh smell of soap and clean clothes for the most part for me. You know what I mean? But the recommend cologne, you know, some people may have other recommendations, but my 2 is Versace and Coach. You know what I mean? Of course, the men's version. You know? All right. All right. Appreciate that, Jonah. What's up to Lorenzo? Shout out to you. What's up to Thema? Hattie Jones says, try to stay away from negative people as much as you can. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. You know what I mean? Because they're just going to pull you down with them at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You start picking up their bad habits. G4 says, do you take typewriting? Did you take typewriting back in school when you seemed fast at typing? Well, typewriting. We had computer classes. You know? I was alright. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure there's some people on here that can really, really type really fast. We're talking about really fast. You know what I mean? A lot of times I'm just, putting the same words. Most times. For some people, they type without even looking at the keyboard. They can type a whole essay. You know? Jonas says, you see Trump pardon Larry Hoover. I think he commuted Larry Hoover, which is though the federal charges probably was terminated, but he still had to deal with the state. Unless it was upgraded. Let me see. Yeah, he commuted him. So now Fox News has said he pardoned him, right? But other news outlets saying he commuted him. Let me see. Let me see. Larry Hoover's son, I forgot who he was talking to. I think he was on the Breakfast Club or something like that.
You'll love this.
It's a commercial. I think his son said, his federal things was dropped. Still had to deal with like the state. Unless they got like new updated stories about it. Capricorn says, so do you agree with Trump about some of his views? Yes. Yes, I do. Gino does too, but he still calls him the devil. You know what I mean? You would agree with Trump for not him being against, the alphabet community. Not allowing a M to dress himself up as an F to enter the F sports. You would agree with that? You know what I mean? So there's some things that Trump got right, but he's still of the devil. Remember, the devil had truth and lies. Who's your favorite boxer of all time? Muhammad Ali. What's up, Lamar? Shout out to you. SB says, I used to be a Sixers fan. I stopped watching them, though. What's up to Robin Harris? He said, grab that rag, I say. Jonah. What's some good lotion? I don't know if I want to answer that question. I'm just going to say cocoa butter. That's it. I don't use lotion. You know what I mean? Some people use like carrot oil, something like natural, something more natural. You know what I mean? For your skin. Stuff like that in it. Something with aloe in it. You know what I mean? But I'm not into all that lotion and all that other stuff, man. I'm just not, man. I'm just basic. Wash yourself up, the case may be. Clean your skin. Cocoa butter, that's it. I know some people got a whole dresser full of, Bath and Body Works, and they may have cucumber lotion, peach pineapple lotion, you know what I mean? Banana yummy lotion. They got all these lotions. For what? You know what I mean? Then they got the Bath and Body for what? You know what I mean? Listen, I just got one thing, and that's it. Cocoa butter, that's it. I don't need that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking anybody out there, but I've seen some people just with a dresser full of just lotions. For what? They gotta put the peach cobbler smell on the arms. You know what I mean? They gotta put the apple banana on their face. There's some people out there like that. You know what I mean? To me, it ain't that serious. You know? Mr. Hebrew says, can we bring to TLG search on Bible app for information on scripture? Can we bring to TLG? Yes. I think Gina was talking about that. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think I think it was recent. Was it recent? Or I might have been looking at an older broadcast, but he was talking about how people was using their phones for the Bible app, looking at their Bible. Yeah, because it was a time where as though you could download, and I'm not sure if they still got it, where as though you could download the Holy Scriptures. You know what I mean? I think it was from what is that website? It was a website you could download it. Jonas says, I have, what is that? Always Ice for men cologne. I never heard of that before. Let me look it up. Okay. Horse Ice. My first time seeing that. First time seeing that. You know? All right, G Soul said, do you have a 401k? I'm not going to answer that one. He says, and if it's so, do you believe 401k is still going to be around in the future? Well, I'm not going to talk about my finances or anything like that. You know what I mean? You might have some lot lizards on here. You hear me? I wish I had a toothpick. You know what happened? I don't have my toothpicks on me, but you might have some lot lizards on here. Pocket watches. You know, they pocket watching. You know what I mean? Oh, he got a 401k. Oh, he got a pension. Let me talk to him. I want to know what his life insurance is. So me personally, I don't like to talk about my finances or anything like that. You know what I mean? But hey, whatever works for people out here. You got people in the financial field who could, you know, provide more information about 401k and pensions and stuff like that. Those who are good in that field. If you have some type of information for Mr. G Swole, you know what I mean? Feel free to share your information. You know, 401k. You know, you got pocket watches on here, man. You got to be careful, man. You know, lot lizards, schemers, plotters, leeches. You know what I mean? Those type of people. You know? All right. Jonas says, in Blue Depths Cologne. Never heard of that one either. Let me see. Okay, not bad. Brother Jonah, what's up to Outer War? Shout out to you. What's up to Nini? Shout out to you. Marcia. Sam said, our supervisor here at the job has a very low hygiene. Everyone complains about him, but other management members aren't saying anything because he is good at what he does. Low hygiene, meaning he stink, he smell. Whether it's musky, whether it's smelling like poop, let's just be honest. Smelling like cigarettes, wet clothes, smell like a wet dog, a cat litter. You know what I mean? If you ain't doing anything, no hard work, out there sweating, if you're in the office and you stink, wow, listen, what some people don't like washing up, they don't like washing their clothes. You know what I mean? It only take a couple of hours. Wash your clothes, you know. Got some Gain or fabric softener. Dry your sheets. You know what I mean? Tide, Downy, Swivel, bleach for your whites. You know what I mean? But some people are smelly. You know what I mean? They don't even wash their face in the morning or at night. You know what I mean? Some people just don't. I bet you if a lot of people just take a dry white piece of tissue, right? Wipe your skin with it and see how much dirt you got on your face. You know what I mean? A dry white piece of tissue. You know what I mean? See how much dirt you got on your face. You know? That's another little jewel I put out there. You know what I mean? If you want to have, like, you know, clean skin and whatnot. Whatever the case may be. Because I had bad skin coming up. So somebody asked me about the lotion earlier. How I found out about the Palmer's cocoa butter. Because I was searching for something for my skin when it was messed up. You know what I mean? And Palmer's cocoa butter always worked for me. So I don't need no lotion or anything like that, just that cocoa butter, and that's it, because a lot of other stuff could possibly break a person out. You know what I mean? Because some people got sensitive skin to certain things, like me. You know what I mean? That's probably one of the reasons why I don't use lotion. Just straight up cocoa butter or anything that's more natural. Olive oil, possibly, if they got it out there. You know? What up? But Jonathan says some people are just trifling. Trifling. All right, we got about 8 more minutes left, and then we're going to knock off. We're going to knock off. Urban Mike said the state charges are still bring work on. You wrote. Mr. Hebrew says, I meant, can being in First Church, Seer, what? Bible apps. I still don't get it at Mr. Hero. Anthony Beecham says, greetings. One of the brothers in the Bronx Temple graduated from Lehman College today, and it was a blessing to rejoice and celebrate with my brother in the Lord. Wonderful. Shout out to him. Giamone said the media is criticizing Sean Combs' mom. They said the first day she showed up with a walker, and the second day of the trial she was walking effortlessly. They said she was trying to get him sympathy. Wow. Yeah, social media is ruthless. What's up with Janae? Jonathan says coconut oil is great for the skin. I agree. Urban Max says, what weight would you fight at now? Well, if that was the case, if I was to try to fight again, man, I remember I used to make, I could make 119 pounds. Can't do that no more. You know what I mean? Can't do that. You know what I mean? So to feel healthy and strong, I'd say, man, with a good nutritionist, I say probably about 132. You know what I mean? That could be hard to make. You know what I mean? But you know, I always thought I could make 119 pounds every time I get a chance to. You know what I mean? No. So I'd say $132. You know, if I was to fight. You know, because some people lose 30, 40, 50 pounds to drop down for a fight. Anthony Beecham says Elder Dan was talking about how the devil has a split tongue tonight at headquarters. Wonderful. Wonderful. Says, why does it seem like all black people use cocoa butter lotion when I use it too? I don't have cocoa butter lotion. I don't use lotion. So I don't know what you're talking about by all. I don't use the cocoa butter lotion. You know what I mean? I forgot. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not lotion. You know, it's like the little Palmer's thing. And I don't want to. I don't want to get up and get it, whatever the case may be. But let me see if we can look it up. It's not a lotion. Let me see. Well, it says Palmer's cocoa butter formula with vitamin E, and it got heals, soften, relieves dry and rough skin. Okay, so Walmart classified this as a lotion. Walmart does. Anybody else does? CVS doesn't. So, but in general, to me, I don't classify it as a lotion. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit more solid than lotion. It comes like, let me show y'all, man. Let me see. Let me see if I can show y'all. All right. Here we go. It's still too bright. You know what? Let me get up out of here. Here we go, right here. This is it right here. See that? That's it right there. So, me personally, I don't classify it as a lotion, but you know, some people do. You know what I mean? All right. What's up to Darren Jones? Nene says no fragrance lotion on your face. Shelly House says Vaseline. Mercy Costa, that's a woman, brother. When something runs out, she got more to use instead going shopping for it again. That's funny. What's up to Leo? What's up to D? What is that? D Nikita. Shout out to you. He says, "What's your take on boarding school? Sending your 12-year-old child to boarding school?" I don't even know what boarding school is. What is that? Like some type of military school or something like that? It says a boarding school is an educational institution where the majority of students live on campus, generally returning home for school breaks. These schools offer a comprehensive experience, including academics, activities, and a close-knit community, often promoting independence and life skills. I disagree. I wouldn't send my 12-year-old child to boarding school. No way. Especially in these days, man. Trust is very, very thin in these days. You know? All right. Joey says lot lizards, that term is a trucking term. Oh yeah. It's lot lizards on here. You know? D. James says, I remember you with mess. He says, I don't remember you with I guess you meant messed up skin. I always thought you had nice skin. Well, probably, I'd say probably after high school, you know, yeah. And it took about maybe a couple of years to find out the formula, whereas though what can help my skin out, or whatever the case may be, you know? because even the littlest things that you may think may affect your skin. You know, some people can't use certain things on their skin. Some people can't use soap on their face. Excuse me. You know what I mean? Because they might break out. You know. So whatever works for a person. I remember when Proactive was out. I don't even know if Proactive is still out. You know, a lot of people were using Proactive. A lot of people. All right. Lorenzo says, for those in, okay, you're talking about the Holy Scriptures. He says, for those outside the U.S., did you order the, are you talking about people outside of the U.S., all right? Anthony Beecham, Canelo, what's up to Ernest Beard? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Epic? Shout out to you. Kurt Ellis, shout out to you. He says, I hope D. James is a lady. Oh, that is a lady. Huh. That is a lady. That's a lady. You know what I mean? I'm confirming and stamping that. You hear me? You know? Yeah, it's funny. All right, if you got any last closing remarks on here, you know what I mean? Feel free to leave it in the chat room. For sure. You know, Lord willing, we'll be on tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. You know what I mean? Lord willing, we'll make it to Friday for sure. It's been a long work week. I work 6 days. I know some people work 5, but hey, for the most part, man don't work, man don't eat, right? I think that's how the saying goes, whatever the case may be. And I hope everybody have a wonderful night, wonderful sleep. You know what I mean? Lord willing, we'll be on tomorrow with some more good old conversation. For the most part, you know, we're looking forward, or at least trying to get on a little bit more earlier, to talk a little bit more longer, for the most part. All right? He said, is it okay to get a massage? Uh-oh! Is it okay to get a massage? Woo! Wow. Me personally, I don't like massages from those places. I don't like it. Even before coming to the truth of God, I went to one. I didn't like it. Me personally, I didn't like it. I think it was like back in 2000 and I don't know, 13 or something like that. You know what I mean? I didn't like it. So I would recommend those out there who's in the truth of God, whatever the case may be, if you're thinking about getting a massage, I think you need to go speak to your local minister. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question. You know? So the ministers out there in the truth of God, those out there who's interested in getting a massage from Hector or from Henry, from Claude, or whoever works at the massage parlor, help yourself. Help yourself. You understand? You know? Because, I mean, I know some people have pains and things like that, or whatever the case may be. And some places do have like acupuncture. You know what I mean? And they know certain parts of the body where as though they can hit to make you feel better. Or some people may be tense, their muscles may be tightened. You know what I mean? But they do have places like I said, therapy, chiropractor. You know what I mean? Somebody with some experience under their belt. You know what I mean? But if you just go into like a regular Joe Schmo, some type of freak out there, you know what I mean? And I'm not racist or anything like that, You know, but they got them places out there in New York City, right? Right? To give you a happy ending. I remember fellas used to talk about that type of stuff. I'm like, how do you feel comfortable with going to those places? You don't even know those women. You know what I mean? You used to see them all in the news. This massage place, such and such been arrested. You know what I mean? That's why I don't play with those places. Me personally, I don't play with those places like that. You know what I mean? What's up, Zebra? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. G Money says massages are great to get relief stress, and especially if you suffer from nerve or muscle pain. You do it for health purposes. There are professionals out there who do not think subliminal. Okay, professionals. Right? I'm talking about the Joe Schmoes out there. You know what I mean? No, don't go to those places. You know what I mean? Like somebody said, therapy, a chiropractor, or anything like that. Or if a chiropractor recommend, you know what I mean? Somebody who's righteous, not a freak. You know what I mean? Because to me, to be honest, a lot of them type of people work in those places. Bonnie says only physical therapy from your doctor. All right, we gotta go. Hope everybody have a wonderful night, a peaceful sleep. I'm Tony Harvin, Tony Harvin Network. God bless. I'm out. Peace.